Hey guys, you're watching BTech. My name's Basil and this is the Sony Xperia X Compact live unboxing video. Now, we haven't had time to swap out our camera since our Xperia XZ unboxing video, so unfortunately there may still be some autofocus issues, but we wanted to get you this video ASAP. Before I start with the actual unboxing itself, there were a few comments in the comments section below, so I'm just going to jump into them. First one was asking about pricing. This is going to be around for £359 sterling here in the UK. That's RRP, of course. You'll be able to pick it up for way less if you get it on contract or indeed through a third-party retailer. The pro side of ordering it through Sony, where it's that little bit more expensive, is you are going to get those Bluetooth wireless headphones free with it if you do pre-order. So yeah, this is a pretty sweet device. Under the hood sits more Xperia X type specs rather than Xperia XZ. It's not quite a flagship, but that does mean the price is a little bit lower. We have got the mist blue version, which is sweet. It was definitely the one I saw and wanted to pick up. Around the back you can see some key specs: 23 megapixel camera, 5 megapixel front camera, 4.6 inch display, 720p. So it's not full HD, but does it really need to be at 4.6 inches? Still has a pixel density of over 300 pixels per inch. It's also got a USB Type-C at the base and 2700 milliamps of juice in that battery. The Qualcomm Snapdragon 650 inside is the same chipset as found on the Xperia X, which I reviewed and I found performed adequately, absolutely adequately. I was pretty stoked with it. Considering there was a lot of debate about how expensive it was, it didn't slow down after use except for firing up that camera. But that's a pretty typical Sony problem through and through. Now, there's 32 gig of onboard memory here, just like with the flagship, but it is also expandable as well. Micro SD card sign right there. Now, that's the point of contention. I will get into the box, but my thing is, I think all flagships now should have 64 gigs standard. Big games, big memory for big expensive phones. Let us know what you think. Just had a comment from Aaron White. Does it have Marshmallow 6.0.1? Yes, it does. And welcome, Khalid. It's your first unboxing video. Right, getting inside the box now, and you can see it's got some color just like its big brother, and it's taking some tough love to get this thing out. And there you have it. Yeah, we have the nice misty blue version here. It looks awesome. Really, really like the look of this thing. For anyone who didn't see our coverage of it, IFA, I compared it in many ways to a Nokia Lumia from old. It has that similar flat bottom reminiscent, not quite as rounded, a little bit more angular in its kind of sides. Then it's very, very similar to the Xperia XZ, bringing that into frame for you. Now the difference is XZ is actually a little bit thinner. Oh yeah, you heard right, which is pretty random. Right, I'm going to put the phone to one side and I'm going to take a look inside the box before I take all the stuff out of there, and we can do the full setup together. A little bit of literature in the box, paperwork, and startup guide. So I can put that to one side. The startup guide opens out. Xperia X Compact. So you can see right there, you've got a SIM card slot as well as a Nano SIM card slot as well as a micro SD card slot. Not really too much else on here. This isn't IP67 or 8 water or dust resistant. Yep, Sonal Das is saying, oh my gosh, this is pretty. So yeah, it's a really, really cute looking phone. You've got old school Sony power brick connector, and you've got some cables. In fact, just one cable, so it doesn't look like there are going to be any headphones shipping with this thing, just that USB Type-C. Although this isn't final retail packaging, it's as close to as Sony has got right now. So yeah, if you get this device and you find you've had headphones, ping us a comment in the comments section below. Right, onto the phone. First thing you can do, peel off that plastic, front plastic. There is back plastic as well. Let's find that flap. Pow. And this baby blue version is just so nice, so nice. It's a really subtle blue, and yeah, really elegant curvaceousness, the ceramic finish, Sony terms it. I'm going to plonk this down. I'm going to read through your comments while you can watch the boot screen. All right. Yes, Nokia from Ramoju. how many megapixels does the camera have? I haven't talked about the specs yet, Aaron, but it's got a 23 megapixel camera around the back and a 5 megapixel camera around the front. Camera design is cool. No fast charging. It actually does have fast charging, not quick charge 3.0. I don't think it does, but it'll have some kind of quick charge on board. Great phone, but damn, fat bezels from Muhib. Yeah, it has. Those stereo speakers are going to contribute to that. But Sony's pretty renowned for having some pretty bezel-tastic phones, generally speaking. Right, so that has powered up. I can talk you through the design of it. First off, that 4.6-inch display. I'm going to plonk it down, swipe through the UI, and you can see it's a really, really smooth experience. Sony's new user interface is freaking awesome. I love it. I'm going to talk more about that in tomorrow's live review of the Xperia XZ. But above and below that screen, which showcase that UI, are speakers. That front-firing 5 megapixel cameras to the left, and to the right-hand side you have that power button / fingerprint scanner combination. So this isn't a flagship, but being a 350 odd pound phone, you'd still expect nice high-end features like a fingerprint scanner, volume rocker, as well as a 2-stage camera button. Oh, that's really nice. So it doesn't feel too spongy. Feels like it provides a decent amount of click feedback. Half press it to focus, full press it in order to take the picture. So, jumping out of the camera module, which I will come back into later, you can see down at the base is that USB Type-C, giving it that little bit more future-proofing than the Xperia X. Left-hand side is that Nano SIM card slot and micro SD card slot. I'm not going to take it out to show you because, as anyone who's had a Sony phone before knows, if you take that out, it shuts the whole thing down, while up at the top, this phone does have a 3.5mm headphone jack, unlike this phone. We'll come on to comparisons a bit later. Around the back is that 23 megapixel camera. Now this doesn't have the same 5-axis digital image stabilization as found on the Sony Xperia XZ. Instead it's 4-axis as found on the Z. And there's still a flash and all that good stuff, and laser autofocus as well, I do believe. So yeah, that's first impressions of this thing, are that it just feels great in the hand. It's nice and refreshing to have a 4.6-inch screen. I've got huge hands, as you can see. It's still comfortable weighting. It's decent. This feels premium, guys. It really, really does. You've got ceramic kind of finish, so it is plastic around the back, but it feels expensive. And down at the base you've got what looks like brushed metal up top and bottom as well. The user interface is running Android 6.0.1 perhaps. So about phone, yep, 6.0.1, and it's with Sony's revised customized user interface. It's so good compared to the old one. So first off, universal search pulling down from any of the home screens, jump into the apps tray, and to the left hand side of the apps tray you've got some recommended applications. What's sweet about that is the fact you can actually turn that off in the settings. So it's a very customizable interface, generally speaking. You can also swap out things like transitions, icon appearance and stuff, and you can even have a Google Now option to the left hand side to give it that little bit more stock look and feel. Pull down from the top, you can see 1-tier, 2-tier notification tray, but you can edit the notification tray freely. One of you guys just asked to open the dialer so you can have a look. This, my friend, is the dialer. So that was for you, Ramoju, super vocal Ramoju. So yeah, great first impression, but how does it stack up against some of the others? So this is the Xperia X Compact versus the Xperia Z5 Compact. The X Compact, and they feel like really similar kind of level of thinness. The X Compact seems to be a little bit taller. Both of them have stereo speakers. I prefer the feel of the I prefer the feel of the X Compact. I really like the Z5 Compact, but that frame just doesn't feel quite as curvaceous, as elegant, and the matte back doesn't feel as nice in the hand as the gloss back. What's awesome about the gloss back is it doesn't appear to be attracting fingerprints like a mofo, which is a sweet deal. So putting the Z5 Compact to one side, we can compare it against the new iPhone. So you can see right there, for anyone who wants to be updated on our live videos in general, our live unboxings, you can subscribe to YouTube, then you'll get an update in your notifications tray. But you can also follow us on Instagram. That's where we posted this picture an hour ago to give people a heads up. So yeah, The iPhone is way thinner, obviously. It hasn't got a much bigger screen. It's only 4.7 versus 4.6 inches on the Xperia. And the Xperia is also not much less sharp. It's way less expensive, though. So for anyone who's looking to pinch some pennies, then you will be doing so by picking up the Xperia Z5 Compact. Sorry, X Compact even. So moving the iPhone out of the way, we can do a final comparison. And I've already kind of done this side by side. And that is with the Z5 XZ. I've got my Sony's all over the place today. That's because I'm kind of trying to read your comments at the same time as talking about these phones, guys. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave them down for a second, and I am going to check out your comments quickly. Great phone. Do you think the XZ is worth the extra money over this? Really depends what you want. The XZ gives you that additional screen size, obviously, additional screen resolution too. So you're looking at 424 pixels per inch as opposed to 319. What you're also getting is more power under the hood, as well as a much higher resolution front camera. The front camera of the Xperia XZ also has that autofocus as well, and the XZ can shoot 4K. I do not think, I might be wrong, but I do not think that the Xperia X Compact can shoot 4K. Yeah, no 4K shooting as standard. So anyone who cares about 4K shooting, then this is going to be your only option. You'll see I've recorded like in excess of an hour of 4K at a time. Or 45 minutes, sorry, on the XZ. So the heat is handled better than it used to be. Right, what else do you guys want to know? Does it heat in regular use? I'm going to be using the X Compact loads. I didn't find that the X heated up a lot, and given the fact it's got the same kind of processor infrastructure, I doubt the X Compact will heat up too much. I did find there was a little bit of heat with the XZ though, given all that extra power under the hood. Can you show the fingerprint? Yeah, sure thing, guys. So this is for Splataro. You've got the fingerprint scanner to the left hand side. We can actually really quickly set that up. It's a pretty easy process. So jump into the settings, and you've got fingerprint security. I think I probably missed it. It's probably under privacy, lock screen and security, fingerprint management, and then set up a screen lock. So I'll just do a quick pin, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So once you've set a pin, you can select what is shown in the notifications, and you can see now it just wants you to place your fingerprint over the thumbprint scanner. Abdullah Tube is saying, "What's up, Basil? What's up, Abdullah? Can you show the phone a bit closer?" Sure, I can. So the reason I'm holding the phone a little bit further back is you'll probably see it kind of whacks out the autofocus on the phone if it's held up too close. So this is a physical button as well. So it isn't a case of just tapping your finger on it. You have to press it, but it is a one process unlocking. So first time you use a fingerprint, you have to use a pin. Then after that, you can see the fingerprint scanner works a treat. I really have found that the Z5 series wasn't always as accurate as my impressions of the XZ. It might just be because I'm using it as a newer phone and have set it up more recently. But yeah, do I generally like fingerprint scanners being on the sides of phones? Honestly, my favorite place to have a fingerprint scanner is probably... Yeah, I'm going to have to say it, guys. Where Samsung and Apple has it is a pretty sweet place. Do you know what? They've all got their advantages and disadvantages. On the front, it means that when the phone's on a surface, you can super easily just power it up and take a look at it. You can activate double tap to wake the screen, though, which is a nice addition. I will say the most ergonomic, i.e. the most comfortable place for a fingerprint scanner to lie is around the back, where Huawei has their fingerprint scanner. But obviously, this has its advantage too, because you're powering it up with a power button on the side, and inadvertently, you don't need to access a separate fingerprint scanner. They all have their perks. My favorite though still is this, just because I activate my phone on a surface all the time. So Samsung and iPhone's front fingerprint scanner. All right. Does voice assistant work by just saying "Okay Google"? Yes, it does. The way it works though is you're going to have to open the Google Now settings and it doesn't do it from off, by the way. It'll only do it when the screen's on. And then when you say, OK, Google, the Xperia XZ, as you can see, is firing up and listening to what I'm saying. So that's done through the Google Now application. Open up the Google Now, log in, and it will get you through everything. So other comments that you guys are asking, when will Nougat be available? And so firing it up, and you can see getting close, it's automatically flicked into macro mode. It's doing its smart superior auto shiz. I can tap through. It's got its object tracking as well. I can take a picture. My hand was kind of shaking a little bit. There's some digital image stabilization at play here, and it's pretty aggressive. What I've also got on here is the standard default imaging system around it. So you've got X Reality on, which actually detrimentally affects the picture quality when you zoom in on the screen itself. It does make everything look a bit punchier and poppier, and this is indeed a very nice high contrast picture right there. I'm going to do some more comparisons with it. It'll be interesting to see if there's any difference between the rear camera on this and the XZ, given the fact that the only real key difference that we've seen is that additional axis of digital image stabilization. As far as the camera user interface goes, you've got manual camera at the bottom. Now, just like with the XZ, this allows you to control shutter speed, manual focus, as well as exposure and white balance. Jump into the settings, and that is where you can control your ISO. You can also switch on HDR and switch off HDR, change the resolution right up to 23 megapixels. Now, it's also really worth noting that anyone who's looking to do really long light trails, you're out of luck. This has a maximum exposure time of 1 second. 1 full second. Still get some light trails. Again, if you haven't seen our Instagram post, let me find it right here. We got a light trail on the Xperia XZ, and it was really easy. What's even better about this light trail, which a lot of other phones wouldn't be able to do, this was a handheld light trail, so it clearly can do a decent job with that image stabilization in low light. So going back into the UI, a lot of you guys wanted to know what's the max resolution for these phones, because I have 23 megapixel sensors in automatic mode. Well, you can go up to 23 megapixels in automatic mode. You can, let's fire up the camera again. You can go all the way up to 23 megapixels in manual as well. So Sony is giving you every pixel right there, which is a sweet deal. Just going to have a quick look through the comments once more. What's the fastest shutter speed? The fastest shutter speed is shutter speed super fast 1/4000 right there. How much will the price be in India? I honestly couldn't tell you how much the price is in India. Do the comparison between the XZ and the X. I've kind of already done that. We did that at IFA. So make sure you head over to btech.com or youtube.com/btech to check out our IFA coverage, specifically the XZ versus X Compact comparison. How does the call UI look? I've already opened it before, but I'll open it again. That's for Damjan. So you can see it right there while I get on with this. Can it raise to wake? By raise to wake, maybe pick up to wake. I don't think it can. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. Thanks for the review. Please, speakers, audio, and in voice. Okay, so you want me to test out the speakers. There aren't any tracks preloaded on this because this is an out-of-the-box state phone. Sony clearly ran through the initial setup process ahead of shooting it over here, but you've generally got the crux for how it looks out of the box. They've in fact saved us some time, guys. Is it worth making the jump from the Z5 to the XZ in your opinion? Honestly, so I've used the XZ for a few days. Tomorrow, you're going to get my review of it. I've been stockpiling content. The camera is good. Is it mind-blowing? It's not mind-blowing. The Xperia X Z camera and the Z5 camera are comparable. The XZ is better. Battery life is pretty much on par as well, maybe a little bit better. And I didn't find the performance was much better either. Like the design is next level. I love the design of the XZ so much, and if you're a real design buff like I am, that might be enough of a reason to do it. These two devices are amongst the best looking phones out right now. Gina totally disagrees with me. She hates how much bezel they've got, but I actually just really like how reassuring they are. They're beefy devices, they know they look good, and they don't mind having all that surface area. I also really like camera buttons, physical camera buttons as well. But the Z5 has all that. So honestly, personally, I probably wouldn't say it was worth the upgrade. I'd wait until the XZ2 or the X Y or whatever they end up calling the next phone. So yeah, that's been a quick overview of the unboxing video. One thing I haven't done is reel off the specs for you aside from when I quickly looked at the box. So just quickly touching on all those. Like I said, 4.6 inch 720p display with a fingerprint scanner on the side, front firing stereo speakers. We'll be doing speaker comparisons of those. You've also got that Snapdragon 650 under the hood with 32 gigabytes of onboard memory and 3 gigabytes of RAM, 23 megapixels and 12 megapixels. The 23 megapixel camera around the back has an f2 lens with the phase detection autofocus as well. The 5 megapixel camera on the front is probably going to be a little bit disappointing for some real selfie fans out there who are paying this much money for a phone, but personally I don't use my front facing camera very much. I'm an absolute giant, so my arm is basically a selfie stick, so I just use the rear one and go for hell for leather, which is going to be made much easier with the physical camera button. You've also got all your standard Wi-Fi connectivity. It's going to have super fast 4G, etc. And I've just been told that this does have quick charge 3.0 as well. So what I was saying earlier about it having some form of quick charge, that's 3.0. So that 27 milliamps of juice will charge up nice and quickly. Oh, you know what I'm probably going to do, guys? I'm probably going to zap these two boys down to 0 and then charge them up and time that charging for you. So I've covered everything I want to cover. If you have any questions, get them in quickly so that I can answer them. I'm going to have a quick look at this thing now. Which is your favorite color of the X Compact? Definitely this one. So it's available in black, white, and this really, really gorgeous kind of misty blue it's called, but it's more like a really soft baby blue. Yeah, pick up that one if you're picking up anyone. And also I reckon the black will probably attract fingerprints a little bit more. This does to a degree, but not badly at all. I really, really like it. Does it support MHL? Ah, guys, this is another point of contention. So if you don't know, Belkin does awesome USB accessories. I'm just kind of having a look. Yeah, I've got them. So Belkin does great USB accessories. I know that doesn't sound super sexy, but they have this USB 3.0 to USB Type-C. And like the Huawei P9, the P9 Plus, all support USB on the go from the USB Type-C port, but this doesn't, which is really annoying. It doesn't out of the box in the stock apps, which is, yeah, I hope that isn't indicative of the final experience across other applications as well, because I really like USB on the go functionality. I've been using this cable since Belkin sent it over and over. So yeah, that's for external storage solutions. I can even plug it into another phone, charge from another phone. Super convenient. So that was one thing that I'll be mentioning tomorrow in the XZ review. What's the price of this phone in New York? I do not know, I'm afraid. Is it worth waiting for the Pixels or going for the XA? Who's to say? Who knows what the Pixels will indeed end up being? I'd say and you probably mean the XZ or the X Compact. If you can't, well, do you know what? You're going to have to wait, because I don't think you can pick up the X Compact to buy it just yet. And if you can, you might as well hold off till October. I think it's the 8th, because that's around the corner anyway. So in answer to does it support MHL? No, I don't think it does. USB Type-C should have some video standard that it can potentially support, but I don't know if Sony's activated it. Does it support double tap to wake? Yes, it does. I'll probably get this one. Was very satisfied with the Z3 Compact. Yeah, Z3 Compact was awesome. I love the mint green version in particular. Does it support 4K and slow motion video? It doesn't support 4K, but I'm pretty sure it's going to have time shift video under the hood. So we can check that one now for you guys. Time shift video, yeah. So you've got slow-mo in there, just no 4K. Can you show the speaker volume in comparison with the Z5 Compact? I will, but not now, just because I haven't got any tracks on here on either of the Z5 Compact or the ZX Compact, and I don't want you guys to be waiting until I transfer music over. How smooth is the XZ software compared to the S7 or Edge variant? I found that the UI on the XZ is super smooth. I really like the UI. Like I was saying, it hasn't really slowed down at all. The only area that I have found that it can take a while to open up, I press the camera button. Do you see how long that took? This is a flagship. It still hasn't populated the icons. This is really bad, right? Really bad, which is really depressing, because it's a really good camera phone, but I can't even jump out of this now. So the camera software in Sony phones has just been pretty poor for a very, very long time, and it isn't any better, unfortunately. And it's not pretty poor in the sense that it doesn't do a good job of taking pictures. When you've genuinely used the phone and reviewed the phone, then you use it and you like come to use a camera in day to day, it can take ages to open. Mind numbing. Just they get like one or two things really wrong and so much right, and it just detracts from the whole experience. All right, back to you guys. Thanks for this vid, BTech. No problem at all. Really glad you're enjoying it. Any feedback that you've got on our live videos, we really, really want to know. Some of you guys were commenting on other videos that we're doing. We're posting more videos, more like stuff on YouTube that we're kind of being a bit spammy with our like random videos about bread rising and stuff like that in time lapse. If you don't like that, please let us know. It really does help us because we don't want to be peeving you guys off. We want to be giving you stuff that you actually want to see. Right, I would like to see speed comparison between the XZ and upcoming Google Pixel phones. I'd like to just see the upcoming Google Pixel phones, personally. When I do, I'm sure you'll be seeing loads of speed comparisons across the web. Worth an upgrade from the Z1 Compact? I'd probably say it is. The Z1 Compact was awesome, but the design's probably a little bit scuffed because that metal frame scuffed pretty easily, had a glass back if memory serves, so that may well be broken, and generally, it's just, yeah, high time you upgraded that bad boy to this because the camera sensor on this is also a fair bit better. Impossible to sideload 4K app from earlier Sony devices? Quite possibly. SSC263, you said I skipped your question. Can you put it back there? Because I didn't see it, I'm afraid. So yeah, the 4K sideloading question, you may well be able to get 4K functionality in this phone. Aaron White loves this phone. He thinks it looks amazing. Golan asks if it's 2 gig of RAM. No, it's 3 gigabytes of RAM under the hood pad with that 32 gig internal memory. Tomorrow I'm going to like really make a bigger point of this question. Do you guys think 32 gigs is enough internal memory for a flagship? I'm of the school of thought that it definitely isn't now. I think every flagship next year should have 64 gig. And if I could start a petition for it, I would. So that's, yeah, my personal thing at the moment, because I've had this phone to review. I've got a 200 gig SD card under the hood. That's the Xperia XZ. Fire up the pattern. And this is how much I filled it up, guys. Jump into the storage, and memory. 81%. I've had this for a week. A week. Crazy. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Like I said, the review of the Xperia XZ, the live review, kind of like this video, is going to go live tomorrow. What we're also going to do in that video is we're going to list the section breaks in the description, so you'll be able to jump to the specific parts that you like. But that, my friends, is the Sony Xperia X Compact live unboxing video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Anyone who's stuck with us for the full 28 minutes, you are awesome. Really appreciate it. Anything that I didn't answer, please fire your questions or thoughts in the comments section below. Once this video is done and it goes completely live and is processed out, you'll be able to comment and we will do our best to answer. Have a great evening, guys. Bye.